Hello wonderful people, it's Wild here and welcome back to part 5 of Building a Christmas Village series. In this video we're going to be creating 2 builds, a Christmas decoration shop and a cozy library. If you haven't already, make sure you go check out the previous videos in this series and let's have a look at what we'll be building today. The Christmas decor store is one of the first buildings you see when you walk into the village, so it's got a really Christmassy feel about it. You can see that I've used red and green striped banners over the tops of the door in that main window there. And then it has a very interesting roof line. It's almost got a mansard roof, and then we've added in a few little gables atop some of these windows. Of course, I've also added in a large shop window, so when it's all filled up with decor, this is going to look really striking. And make sure you keep an eye out for the rest of this series, where at the end I'll show you how I decorated this and all of my other village buildings. The second build I'll be creating in this video alongside this Christmas decor shop is the library, and I've placed it right next door. Let's check it out. You can see that I've used the new chiseled bookshelves as a decoration block, and they add a wonderful pop of colour. And to tie in with this colour, I've used some baubles of wool along my garlands, and I've used a green base so all of that colour really pops. This is a super spacious build with plenty of room to decorate, which means we can have a nice large library downstairs and living quarters upstairs. But the first building we're creating is our decor store. The materials you'll need for this build are on your screen now. Keep in mind that for this and all our other village builds, the listed number of roofing materials doesn't include the blocks we removed for snow, so you'll need a few extra of those. Here is the outline for our Christmas shop. You can see it's basically 2 rectangles joined together there, and you can see the door marked in at the front. The first thing we're going to do is mark in all our doors and windows, starting with the central window here. I'm starting in the center and I'm building up 3 high, 1 block above the base. And we're going to extend that to either side and then 2 high to either side of that. Like this. Of course, we've got our doorway here, which is just 2 high. Then around on this side, I'm coming in 2 blocks to add in a 2 high window, and again 2 blocks for a 2 high window, and there should be a 3 block gap between them. At the back of this section, we have another window. And now onto the rest of this larger build. So we're going to count 2 blocks in and add in a 3 high window here, and again 2 with a 3 high window, and there should be a 3 block gap between them. And then for the final side, we're going to count 2 in and build up 3 high, 2 in and build up 3 high. And that's going to leave us with a 5 block gap. While we're at it, we can come inside the build, and I'm going to build 4 high, 1, 2, 3, 4, in this joining section between the 2 parts of the build. This is going to mean we can build all of our walls right around it and don't have to worry about leaving out that gap. Now for the walls themselves, we're going to be using a mixture of stone brick, some mossy stone brick, some mossy cobblestone, and just creating a texture with these. Now for this larger rectangle, we're going to be building up 5 high, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you should see that sits 1 atop of all of these windows. Then for this smaller rectangle, we'll just be building up 4 high, so that's 2 blocks, 3, and 4. And again, this should end up sitting 1 block above the windows in this section. So let's go ahead and add these in, remembering to add lots of texture as we go. The way you texturize is totally up to you, and it's just about achieving a look that you're happy with. Don't forget you can always come back and remove and replace some blocks, but you just want to be keeping an eye out to have a random distribution. I like to keep in mind that if you have more of the stone brick, it's going to look like a newer build, and if you have less, it's going to look like an older build with more mossy walls. Let's add in some more stone brick up here, and I think that's the first wall done. Let's rotate round and work on the next wall following the same process. I think that's pretty good, but I might add one extra mossy cobblestone at the top here. That's better. And let's keep working on the rest of these walls. So I've got all my walls in now, and you can see how this rectangle is 1 block taller than this smaller rectangle. Now I can go ahead and remove all of these temporary blocks that we have in our windows, as well as in our doorways. And don't forget to come inside and remove these blocks as well. There we are. Now for all of our windows, we're going to be having the lower section with some white stained glass. And I'm using blocks here as we'll be creating a frame around the outside of the windows. And for this shorter section, we'll just have 1 block at the bottom. And then for the tops of the windows, we're going in with red stained glass. For the flooring in this build, we'll be using polished diorite, and I'll be filling in this whole level with it. Of course, in survival, you could use diorite slabs. And don't forget to fill in underneath the doorway, and we're going to place in a mangrove door from the outside so it opens inwards like this. While we're inside here, we're going to add an archway to this area. I'm going to add in a block on either side, followed by a slab here and here, and then to finish it off, we're going to add in 2 walls. Now let's come back outside and we're going to start working on the next level. I'm grabbing out some white terracotta and I'm just building a little point like this on either side of this small section. This is just going to fill in the gap between the roof and this wall. Then I'm going to come to each corner of this large rectangle and build up 5 using our 3 stone materials. Now that I've got those in, I'm going to skip the first block and then have a block come out to the side, skip another block and add in 1 more. And I'm going to do this off of either side of the wall. Next we need to mark in windows. Let's start on the front and the back. I'm going to count 2 blocks up and then I'm going to add in a 3 high window, and I can remove those 2. So there's a 2 block gap below. Let's do this on the other side as well. I'm also going to do this on this side here where we're looking out onto this other section. And then around on this other side, we've got a slightly different window shape. So I'm going to count 1 block across, counting from here. So that's going to take me to here and to here, like this. So there's a 3 block gap between them. I'll again count 2 blocks up and then I'll add a 2 high window on top of that. There we are. Let's grab out our white terracotta now and fill in the walls up to the height of the top of this stone. So it's going to go over the top of these 2 high windows and sit at the same level as the top of the 3 high windows. I'm just filling in the very last section of this wall now, and there we go. We need to add some gables on top of this next. For the front and back window, I'm going to build 3 on top with my white terracotta, then 2 to either side, and then 1 to either side of that, creating this shape. There we are. And then for this 3 high window, we're going to build up 2 high and 1 to either side for a 3 wide gable. Now before we add on our roof, we need to add in our chimney. The first chimney is down here on this lower section. I'm coming to the back and finding this block beside the white terracotta. I'm going to build up 2 high with stone brick. Then I'll place a stair on top and a stair coming out. I'll add on 2 more stone bricks and I'm going to top that with my campfire and surround with some spruce trapdoors. For the next chimney, we're going to come around to the opposite side of the build. I'm finding this window here, and on the block diagonally back from it, I'm going to build up 2 high again. 1, 2, and like before, we're adding a couple of stairs, except this time I'm going to add 3 stone brick on top before I add on my campfire. Before we add on the roof, I've come inside and added in a few torches, and I'm also going to add in my ladder. I'm going to go 1 above the height of this stone brick layer, and then for this ceiling and floor for the next layer, we're using more diorite blocks. The reason we're using blocks here is if we used slabs, you're going to see some of this white terracotta from the layer below, and it just doesn't look quite as clean. So let's go ahead and place all of these in, and I'm also going to place in some torches on top of here before I get roofing. There we are, let's grab out roofing supplies. We'll be using deep slate tiles for all of this roofing, and we're going to start down here. I'm going to begin by placing a row of my deep slate tiles along this layer here, and I'm going to skip out this block, but I will extend it 1 over to each edge. Just like this. Next, we're going to have a layer of slabs, followed by a layer of upside down stairs. We're going to continue on with some stairs next, but before we do that, I'm going to place 3 deep slate tiles beneath this window. So we've got a layer of stairs here, and a layer of stairs for this layer. To finish off the look of this roof, we're going to grab a few more stairs and just place them underneath each of these joins. Onto the larger roof now, we're going to come up and start by placing in some upside down stairs at this layer here. So I'm just placing 1 here, and then I'm going to place 3 going to this side and join in that corner. Again, we're watching out for the chimney there. We'll add in 3 more, add in the corner and 1 around this side. And then for this side of the build, we're just going to go straight across and around the corner again. I'm going to add in a couple of slabs now. And for these gable-like sections, we'll be using deep slate tiles and placing them underneath and facing forward. And using a few more stairs, we'll reach up to the top, where we'll finish with a slab. So it'll look like this. And this one is just a smaller version, so again we'll have some stairs and a slab at the very top, creating the same shape. For the rest of this roof, we're creating the mansard shape. It's quite common in Victorian style buildings. We're going to start by placing in a layer of our blocks. Then we'll have a layer of stairs, except we're leaving out each corner. And in their place, we're going to add an extra block. For the next layer, we're going to be having 2 blocks going all the way around. And I'll use a few extra stairs and slabs to connect up these gables. I'm also going to place a slab on the top of each corner of this lower level. And then for the very top of the build, I'm going to place in some slabs. I'm placing them at this lower level here so mobs don't spawn on the roof. And we'll also go around this edge with some deep slate tile walls. So let's take a step back and have a look at this roof. Doesn't it have a cool shape? Now it's time to decorate. I'm going to start by replacing these temporary blocks in the windows with some glass like we did on the layer below. So again, I've got my white glass and topping it off with a block of red. There we are. Okay, so all of these 3 high windows, except for this one around on this side, are going to have the same decoration, starting with 2 jungle stairs, a slab in the center, then we're going to build up 2 high with jungle fences on either side, and we're going to top it off with a jungle stair on top of that, and a slab in the center, creating a nice archway. We'll also add in a flower pot, so I'm going to create this one on the other side as well as down here. Now that those are all in, I'm going to add the decoration to this 3 high window. We're essentially following the same format, but we're just leaving out the jungle at the bottom. And don't forget your flower pot. There we are. Now onto all of the 2 high windows. We're going to be placing 3 slabs across the base, a flower pot in the center, and then we'll be using some jungle trapdoors to create shutters. You can see that I'm going to have some of my shutters open like this. And some of them I'm going to have fully closed. I also need to create this decoration around here at the top. And around here at the back. Now for this one at the back, we're going to add an archway with a slab and a couple of stairs. There we are. And we have one last window to decorate, and that is the big one at the front. We're going to start by placing 3 stairs across the bottom with a slab on either side. Like this. Then we're going to add in some trapdoors and pots. I'm going to place 3 pots across like that. Then we've got some trapdoors. I'm going to build 2 high and 2 high and flip those up. And I'm going to add 2 on the outside as well. There we go. Next we've got some more stairs. We've got 2 here like this, and then some upside down ones inside here. And I'm also going to add a trapdoor in here. To finish off the decoration, we're just going to add 3 jungle stairs on the top. Over on this doorway, we're going to create a simple decoration with some trapdoors on either side, as well as a slab over the top. Then we're going to be using some red and green wool to create a small canopy. So that's going to sit along this layer like this, and then come forward 1 more, and then come down 1. So it will sit out like this. I'm going to add in a couple of jungle fences for posts, like that. And then we're going to add a canopy over the top of here as well. So I'm going to start with green in the middle and then build out 2 to either side with a stripe. And for this one, we're just coming straight down. For some more decoration, I'm taking anvils and I'm going to place these facing outwards from each of the corners. Of course, I'm going to leave this one out, but I will add them on this small section as well. I'm also going to add one of these in the center of each wall. And then I'm going to build 4 high on this taller wall. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's taking me to the top of the stone brick here. And I'm using some polished deep slate walls for this. And then on this section, I'm just going to build up to the height of the roof. Now on top of this, I'm going to need a few more anvils. So I'll place one in like this and then connect it over to the next with some polished deep slate slabs. Then I'll add in my next anvil and continue on this pattern. The next detail we need to add is some snow. So I'm going to start by placing in a few snow blocks on this rooftop, and it's up to you how many you add. I like to have it mostly gathered along these gable lines, and then I'm going to use a little bit of snow to accentuate the snow drifts. Now of course along this edge where we've got our ups and down stairs, I can just go straight in with the snow. And I'm going to really pile it up along here. Like this. Let's add in a little bit more around the chimney next. It's up to you how much snow you add in. You just want it to look super festive and frosty. And don't forget you can always come back and replace blocks and change things until it looks the way you like. I think that's pretty good. Let's add in a bit of snow around here. And I'm going to continue this on the rest of the roof. But before I do that, I'm going to come down here and work on the snow along this section. So once again, I can go ahead and pile up snow right along this edge. But I might also go in and replace a few of these blocks with some snow. There we are. For this next layer, I'm going to replace a couple of blocks as well, adding in some snow. And let's pile up some snow on top of the blocks. Again, for this next layer, I can go straight on top of the blocks with the snow, but I might replace a couple with some snow blocks. And don't forget to add snow on top of your canopies as we create this as well. Moving up into these stairs, let's add in a few of the snowy blocks. And then go in with some more snow. I think that's looking pretty good. Let's come around here and keep working on the rest of this. You can also remember to add snow on top of your slabs around this border. Just adding in my last few pieces of snow now, and let's take a step back. Doesn't it look beautiful and festive? You can see that I've stuck to traditional Christmas colours here in the decor. So for my flowers, I've done the same. We've got some red, some green and some white. And of course, right by the door, I've used a spruce sapling as a tiny Christmas tree. A couple other decorations I added to tie it into the world include creating some snowdrifts around the base, and I've added in a few bushes as well. And of course, I've got a little Frosty out the front. Doesn't he look jolly? Now that we've created this beautiful decor shop, let's move on and work on our library, a wonderful place to sit and read perhaps a Christmas story. The materials you'll need for this build are on your screen now. Once again, make sure you grab a few extra of your roofing supplies, and it's useful to have a few extra of each supply as well. Here is the outline for our build. You can see it is basically a 9x13 rectangle. We've got a curve marked in at the front for the bay window, and then the two sections on the side are our chimneys. We're going to start by building up 6 high in each corner with some stone brick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then using some sort of temporary block, we're going to mark out our windows. So we've got our doorway first, that's going in here. I'm also going to leave an extra block above that, and then 3 across the top. Then I'm going to come around to this front section here, and I'm going to add in 2 blocks on either side. And then I'm going to build up all the way to the top, just going straight across the front of where our bay window is going. There we are. Now around to the sides, we've got a small window on this side. So it's 2 blocks high and spaced 1 in from this stone post. Then along the back, we're going to have 3 windows, 1 on each side like this, again 1 away from the stone post, and 1 in the center. There should be a 3-block gap between these. We have 1 more window going on this side, and it should be opposite the one on the other side. Before we begin building up our walls with some lime terracotta, I'm going to come behind this chimney and build all the way up to the top with some more stone brick. There we go. Now I've got my lime terracotta, and I'm going to be building up just 5 high. So that's going to sit 1 below the top of the stone brick there. And I'm going all the way around the build here, making sure I leave out those gaps where we've marked in our windows. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove all of these temporary blocks. I'm going to start over here at the bay window. Then in these two spots on either side, I'll place in a chisel bookshelf. Make sure you have the shelf section sticking outwards. I'm also going to add one here, and I'll add in the rest of the gaps with some lime terracotta. Like this. I'm going to build two high on top of everything here with some white stained glass, and then add an extra one in the center. On the other two sides, I'll add in my dark oak planks, and I'll top it off with a layer of lime terracotta. Like this. Coming over to this doorway, I'm going to break out these temporary blocks. I'll add glass across the top, and then we're adding in a stripped dark oak log, or rather a stripped oak log just here, and we'll come back and put our doorway in a bit. The rest of the windows are getting white stained glass. Now I'm going to take some chisel bookshelves and I'm going to place these, leaving every other gap free. And I'll fill in all of those gaps with lime terracotta. You can see I'm leaving out this section over the bay window. I'm going to grab some books and add one to every spot in the bookshelf. This can be a little bit of a time-consuming process, but the look at the end is certainly worth it. It adds such a wonderful pop of colour to this build, and what a fun detail to add to a library. Alright, those have all got books in them now. I'm going to come back here to this section. I'm going to place in a lime terracotta, followed by a bookshelf, followed by a lime terracotta, a bookshelf, and one more lime terracotta. These ones can be facing to the side because you don't need to see the bookshelf texture, you just want to have that detail going all the way around. Now to fill in the floor, we're going to be using some stripped dark oak logs here, and I'm just placing them all so they run in the same direction like this. And we're doing the whole floor with this pattern. Now that I've got all that filled in, we're going to add in our staircase. So I'm going to come to where we've got our door and find this block in the center of that wall. I'm going to build out 3, then 2, then 1 with some bookshelves, and I'm going to place 3 stairs going up like this. I'm going to add a slab on this side and 2 dark oak trapdoors on top. From here we're going to go up to our next layer, so you can place in some sort of temporary block. I'm just using another stair, and then I'm going to zigzag my way up a few blocks like this. Finishing off here, so we've gone up 3 stair lengths. I'm going to use some more dark oak trapdoors to create a bit of railing going up these stairs, as well as on this side. And we're going to add a railing on this side of the stair as well, and on the other side of the lower section. So this staircase should be fully functional. You can walk up and up again, but we need to add a floor when you reach the top. So for this we're going to use some more dark oak logs. I'm just going to place these coming along this way, and I'm going to leave this little 2 wide rectangle free. In fact, I can leave this trapdoor off because my floor is going to go right up against that. Now that I've got this flooring in, we're going to add in a railing up the top. So you can grab out some sort of temporary block. I'm using some wool, and I'm going to place this on either side like this. That way I can place my dark oak trapdoors directly onto those. And when I remove them, the trapdoors are going to be sitting on the inside edge, so I can add decorations here when it comes to that. I'm also going to add one more trapdoor just here to finish it all off. Now we can get working on the very next story. So I'm going to start with some stone brick, and I'm going to build up 5 high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then coming off of that, I'm going to create a little design like this. And I'm doing this on each corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then our design. I'm I'm also going to take a few more stone brick and come to the center of this section for the chimney and build up to the top. So there should be a 1 block gap over here and again on this side. Now let's mark in some windows. We're going to have 3 across the front. 1, 2, 3. So these are spaced 2 blocks apart, and we're going to do the same on the back. 1, 2, 3. So the center one at the back is going to be above the center one below, but these two will be set one in. Now over to the sides, we're just going to have one window centered in these panels. Now all of these windows are 2 blocks high, and now that we've got that marked off, I can go on with some stripped oak logs, and we're going to place these in all of the gaps, making sure they all face upright. And I'm going right up to the top here. With all of those walls in place, we're going to work on the gable walls at the top and our dormer windows. For the dormer windows, I'm going to start by marking in 2 blocks above these 2 windows. Then I'm going to take lime terracotta and build up 3 high on either side and over the top. Then I'll come to the back and I'll add in 2 here and here, and then 1 extra at the top. And I'm just doing this at the front. I can actually go ahead and replace this bottom section with a chisel bookshelf now. There we are. And let's work on the rest of this. So I'm going to come to this side and I'm going to build up 3 high on the chimney. Then I'm going to grab my stripped oak logs and we're going to create a gable. So I'm starting with 1 block on here, then 2, then 3, and then 4 in the center. And it should mirror the other side, with this section just being made of this stone brick. So again, on this side we're doing the same thing. 1, 2, 3, then I'll have 2 and 1, 1, 2, 3, and then 4 in the center, like this. I've also gone ahead and lit up both of my floors, and we're going to add in the ladder to the last story. So I'll add my ladders going up just to here. Then I'll grab some dark oak slabs and we're going to go ahead and fill in this whole section. I've finished filling in all of the floor and I'm just adding glass and books to my bookshelves. There we go, all of my windows have glass now, and we're just about ready to add in the roof. But before we do that, we're going to work on these 2 chimneys. Now these chimneys are symmetrical, so once you've got one down pat, you'll easily create the next one. So let's start over here. I'm going to build up 5 high all the way across the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll be using all stone brick materials for this. Then I'm going to come forward and create a little U shape like this. And in the gap, I'll add an upside down stone brick stair. Then we'll have a chiseled stone brick and a stair on top of that. I'm also going to add in 2 walls, one here and one here. Coming up, I'm going to add 2 blocks on top of this stair. And I'll go behind and add in a block as well as 2 blocks to the side here. So it's looking like this. Coming on up, I'm going to add in 3 blocks on top of here. 1, 2, 3. So that way I can add in a couple of stairs. They're going to be placed in a curve like this. I'm going to add 2 more blocks on top of here so I can add in a couple more stairs with a curve. Then I'm going to place 4 stone brick on top of here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3 over here. 1, 2, 3. So I should be 1 block below. I'm also going to come back down here and add in a couple of walls, 3 of them just to reach that stair. Coming back up to the top now, we're going to add in a couple more stone bricks, 1 here and 1 here. And I'm going to have some stairs coming forward from this, so they're facing outwards like this towards the front. I'll add 4 chisel blocks on top. There we go. And I'm placing in just a temporary block here so I can place some stairs going off to the side. I'll add 2 more going off to the other side. I'm going to add in a couple more on top to create a little plus shape. Then at the very top of this chimney, I'm going to add in 4 stone brick walls. So here's how the chimney should look. So I'm going to create this same design over on this side, and we're just basically mirroring it. So once again, let's start at the base by building up 5 high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Create our U shape and add in some stairs. And don't forget about the walls on top. I've built a little further up now, and one thing you need to make sure you're careful of is that when you add in these 2 blocks off to the side, you make sure it goes towards the front. So you can see on this side, these stairs go towards the front first. Otherwise, we won't have enough room beside the window to decorate. So just go back and forth and make sure it looks the same when you're looking at it. So I'm up to the step of adding 4 on top of here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3 on top of here. And then I'm going to go in with a block and a block, some stairs, got our chiseled stone brick, and I've just got to finish off the top now. Now we are ready to add on our roof. I'm going to start with some of these cobbled deep sleep stairs, and we're just going to create a simple gable pattern here. So I'm going all the way across the front, and then I'm just following the shape created by the outline of the gable. Of course, we've got these chimneys here, so I'm going to skip over that section but continue building up to the top. So that'll bring me to here. The only thing we have to watch out for is that on the front we need to connect this up to the smaller gables of the dormers. So let's work on that. Our first layer is going to connect to here. Then we've got another layer of stairs, which will connect up to the layer of stairs behind it. There we go. And let's do the other side while we're at it. You can see I'm making sure there's a 1 block overhang all the way around here. And I can connect this up to the other dormer too. We've got another layer of stairs. And then for these dormers, we've reached the top, so I can go straight in with my cobbled deep slate slabs. There we go. Onto the rest of the roof, just using our stairs here. And making sure I curve around for this other side. I'll work on the back now, and that's just the same as the front, but we don't have dormers to muddle around with. We can just go straight across with stairs. I'm just adding in my last few stairs, and we're going to go across the top with some slabs now. And we've got the finished shape of our roof. I'm going to take some more cobbled deep slate stairs and just place them underneath to finish off the look. Look how much better that makes it. We're going to do the same thing on the larger section of the roof as well. When we get to these center points, I'm just facing the stairs forward. I'll also use cobbled deep slate to create the roof on this bay window. So I'll place 5 cobbled deep slate blocks across the back and 3 across here. Then we're just going to line the edge with some slabs. Now let's work on some decorations, starting with this dormer window. I'm beginning by placing some mossy stone brick slabs around the base. Just like this. In these 2 corners, I'll add 2 mossy stone brick walls with a block on top. Then we're going to go in and create a little archway. So we've got a couple of stairs here, and then some slabs across the top of that. And I'm going to use some dark oak fences, just 3 up the center like this. I'm going to have 2 on either side, with a stair facing forward. Next, let's decorate this doorway. I'm going to start by placing 2 chisel bookshelves. We don't need to place books on these because we're adding dark oak trapdoors on either side. What we really want to see is this lovely texture on the top. I'm going to place some mossy stone brick walls on top of this and a couple more of these bookshelves. And these ones I do want to fill up with books as they will be visible. I'm going to add a dark oak slab in the center with a fence above that. And then we're going to use a few stairs to create an archway. So 1 upside down in the center, 2 off to either side, and then 2 upside down ones on either side of that. And look at that lovely archway. To finish off this doorway decoration, we're going in with a couple of dark oak signs. There we go. For the doorway, I'm using a mangrove door, and let's move up to these windows at the top. I'll be placing a mossy stone brick slab above and below with fences in the center, and then I've got some dark oak trapdoors which I'll place on either side. Let's go ahead and repeat this all the way around the build. I'm just putting in my last couple of trapdoors now, and you can see that I've created the same design from the top down here for all of the lower story windows. We've got just about all of our windows decorated now, but coming around to the front, you can see we still need to decorate these couple of dormers. Ooh, and I've missed one out here. Let's quickly add in our fences and our trapdoors. Now we're creating the same sort of design up here, but of course it's a short of windows, so we only need one fence and 2 trapdoors instead of 2 fences and 4 trapdoors. So let's add those in. While I'm up here, I'm going to add in a couple of oak fences just to either side of the window like that. And around on these larger gables, I'm going to go in with a few dark oak slabs. These are placed level with the bottom of these stairs. I'm going to come down to this layer where we have our chisel bookshelves next, and I'm just placing in some blank oak signs all the way around. Of course, I'm going to miss out where we have our chimney, but make sure I cover every other side. There we are. Next, I've got some oak fence gates, and these are also going all the way around the build, and I'm opening them up like this. So obviously I have to skip over these blocks where we have slabs in the way, but everywhere that I can place them on this layer, I will. They add such a great little bit of texture and detail. You can really see how much they add to the build. To make this build feel extra Christmassy, we're going to take some spruce leaves to create some garlands. For this first top garland, I'm going to place in a leaf here onto this gate. Then we've got one below. Then we're coming forward and still below. Then we go up, down again, up, down again, up, down again. And this next one's going to tuck back in close to the wall and one more at the top. And let's create this same shape at the top of the back of the build. So here, then coming forward. And you can make sure that we're going up above each window each time. Just like this. Now coming down to the back at the lower level, I'm going to place in one here, then 3, 1, then 3, and then one more at the top there. Coming around to the front next, I'm going to add in a little garland above here. It's almost a wreath really. Then we're going to have a few more leaves. So we've got one here, 2 coming out, 1 down, 1 up, 1 down, and the same on the other side. So 1 here, 2 coming out, and here's how it should look. I'm just adding in my final decoration now. You can see that for all of these garlands, I've gone ahead and added a mixture of light blue, red, yellow, lime wool, and purple wool, and I've added in a few enchanted books as well. I've also added in a couple of bells, one at the top here, and one at the top round the back. And whoops, I must have clicked on this one. I want to make sure my bells are hanging right down. As for all the beautiful snow giving the build its snow-capped appearance, I started by placing in my blocks. Let's add in a few here at the back. And I think I'll add a few more along the top. I like to have a few showing on the edge, so that way when you look at the build from this angle, it looks nice and frosty. And let's see, maybe, I think that's pretty good. I'm going to go in with a few pieces of snow just to add a little bit more dimension. And there we go, I think that looks pretty good. And I'm also making sure that I top each of my garlands with a little bit of snow as well. Of course, when it actually snows in your biome, these are going to get topped anyway. But you can add a little bit extra in places to build it up and create this extra snowy look if you'd like. Let's add a couple more here. Oh, and don't forget the one above the door. Because we have such a lot of colour going in these garlands, I've left the decoration fairly plain for the rest. So I don't have any flowers out here, the books are going to add plenty of colour to this bay window, and I've used some little Christmas trees on either side of the door. I'm also going to go ahead and make sure I pile up some snow along the sides of the house for that really snow-swept look. You need to keep in mind that snow isn't going to fall underneath here, so you're going to want to make sure you place it in manually. And I tend to group most of my snow right around the corners as well. You can see I've also placed a little snowy bush off to one side, and you can have a lot of fun tying in your decorations for this and all your other builds with your landscape. So you can see I've got a little seating area off to this side, so framing the seating area with the bush means putting the bush up against this building is a great idea. One other thing you can do when decorating is using some banners. So since this lime banner, or rather green banner, with the bow works so well with the lime backing, I've added one here, as well as on the other side instead of adding garland here. So now we have 2 more beautiful builds in our village. It's really coming together now, but make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on upcoming uploads. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy holidays!